Welcome back, everybody. This is the angling news from this past week, and what a fruit bowl to talk about. Everything from cars crashing into fishing lakes, one of the best anglers in the world to ever bless and grace the handle of a rod leaves his sponsor, and how an angler chose not to pay £35 a year for his fishing licence, but instead chose to pay £1,076 in court fines. I mean, that's great for the economy. So, let's get straight into the news this week. First thing I want to touch on is the Wingerworth Lido in Chesterfield. Fishing pond, commonly known as the Smithy Pond because the pub next to it is the Smithy Pond pub. Fishing was unlawfully banned on there after the local council thought that it might be a good time to end the lease with the local angling club, Claycross Angling Association, and hand it over to a biodiversity group who had great plans for creating a natural wildlife hotspot for people to come and enjoy. My biggest rife was, because it's a pond, it's a lake, the biggest, most prestige creatures that live in that environment are the fish. So if you ban fishing, you're probably never going to see them again. So every now and again you'll see a koi, and you might spot a pike, or you'll see a bream, or you'll see a dead tench or something. I mean, in recent weeks we've seen dead carp on top, and that's purely because there's been no one there to manage and help police the place. But that's the only time you're really going to see fish in there. When anglers are fishing and they're catching them, taking them out, applying carp care, and I touch on carp angling more than anything else because it's predominantly a carp fishing venue. I used to fish it when I was a kid. From anywhere from I think 11, 12 years old up to about, I had a bit of a break, so I joined army and got married and ruined my life. And then when I came back, I hit it quite hard. I used to fish on there regularly, matches, silvers, and every now and again you would stumble across a massive tench, huge tench in there. And Benny and his dad, Ray, Andy Benniston and Ray, they used to fish it a lot. Ray in particular, I used to sit near him quite a lot. And he used to sit on what we used to know as the slabs. And he used to sit fishing 5 metre, anywhere between 5 and 8 metre on a pole or elasticated whip or whatever. And you look into these tench and they'd just sail off. And you'd end up with sacks of them, and I mean sacks of them. And that is the only time you're really going to appreciate what lies beneath that water. Otherwise, you're never going to see it. And I get it, the birds and everything, but it's quite a busy place. It's a very popular hotspot with the restaurant and the pub, especially outside eating. So you need to kind of ask yourself, is that the best option for it? And I never thought it was. I don't think it's a good idea for there. I think it's a fabulous idea, by the way, a biodiversity nature reserve. I can't stress it enough. There's some great nature reserves out there that I'd love to go and fish, and I'll never be able to. And it's because I can't, that's why I want to fish it so much more. But they've kind of always been like that. This place at Smithy Pond, Wingerworth Lido, it's been nurtured as a fishery. So them fish have depended on human interaction for a long time. What's then happened is angling's been paused whilst they come up with an idea about creating a biodiversity hub. Well, I've always said from the start, and a lot of you guys that have read the comments and followed everything, I've always said a collaboration of the two would be great. In fact, in the first meeting, we had people storming out. I have got some footage at first meeting. I had my camera on and I filmed the entire thing. I got there 10 minutes late because I had to drive, 80 miles to get there. And one of the biggest ambassadors for that campaign at the time actually got up and stormed out. There were a lot of arguing going off when I arrived. There were some people telling lies. I'm not going to go into names, but the people that were there will know who actually got up and stormed out. A couple of people left shortly after as well. But I did pipe up after people left and said, can we not do a collaboration? And I were kind of silenced. I were hushed. It's not really much to do with me. I'm not part of the club. I'm not part of Lido. I'm not, just an angler trying to defend something great, because I don't think it's solely becoming a biodiversity hub would help the place. I think it would go into a state of hard recall, an absolute disaster. So I said, what about a collaboration of the two? People don't always agree with fishing, but how else are you going to see the fish? How else are you going to care for them? How else are you going to make sure that they're in tip-top condition and health? You're just not, until they're dead and they're floating on top. on the flip side, as an angler myself, I love wildlife, I love nature, I like interacting. There's birds in particular. I need to really sit down at some point and or go and have a day's bird watching with somebody and just try and work it out. I love birds, just don't have that connection between me and animals that can fly in the sky. I'd love to be able to spend a bit of time with birds. So straight away, I wanted to know more, and I thought it'd be a good idea to collaborate both. I was shot down in comments. I got a lot of grief, by the way, for people saying that I was somebody that just wants to go and film there and take pictures. I've only ever done one video at Lido, and I did a fishery audit when fishing was available back last year. So there are a few people out there, and if you go through alt posts, you will see the people that attack people that go and film and fish and like vlog, if you will, create videos, content creators, whatever. So, and they're anglers as well. So you kind of in a quite a rough triangle trying to escape with a handful of what's best for the place, and not everybody is on the same page. But luckily we do have these little groups of people that are. As it stands right now, it's the 9th of December, so yesterday the 8th, it was announced that the angling rights would be reinstated. It's not permanent. I've seen posts where people are like, oh, I'm so proud of myself and I'm so proud of this and I just want to thank everybody. No, it's been temporarily reinstated until we can make a final decision legally, because the angling rights before were removed and it were all a bit iffy. Right? So if you see any posts flying about where we've won, anglers are the greatest and they're not, and no, that's not how it should be. It should be a collaboration of the two, keeping their interests in mind as well, and just remembering that it is just a temporary fix. So it's not permanent as of yet. It could be, but they have stated it's not permanent. It's just a temporary reinstatement of angling. So massive well done to Claycross Angling Association. I assume that they've given the rights back to them. I'm not quite sure, but in the meantime, I think what I'll do is I'll probably have a nip up there soon, and if I show you a place, it's going to be the same as last year, so I might have to have a nip up and go and have a fish and grab a day ticket while I'm on bank. But yes, that's the first bulk of news in today's weekly news. Angling at the Wingerworth Lido has now been reinstated. I also want to say a massive thanks on behalf of everyone, not me, because I'm just a drop in ocean. There's a lot of people local in Wingerworth. Ross Shipman, local councillor, besides digging as many holes as he can to throw these people in that have lied and cheated their way through their job roles and, you know, just said things that they shouldn't have said, that guy ain't scared to point a finger at someone and say, you're chatting crap. And he does. And luckily, I don't think without his influence, this would have happened. So massive thank you to Ross Shipman and all the local agencies that have helped apply a little bit of pressure. As an angler, I could be the most out there angler in the world. I could have the biggest platform, and unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't mean anything. So, yeah, just remember that it is just a temporary fix, but a very small victory for now. Fishery audit not long back at Milton Ponds in, I think it was Barnsley. I want to say Milton Pond. Tiny little ponds, 2 of them, full of fish, lots of koi carp, stunning venue. I think I scored it an A-star. Absolutely incredible place to be, whether you're fishing or not. It's stunning. If you've not been there or know anything about it, it's Milton Ponds in Barnsley. I think it's on day ticket. There's memberships available. There's a great Facebook page. A car has crashed off the road, through the barrier, down the bank, and as it goes down the bank, it's like a concrete wall, and then a little bit of a platform, and then it's in the lake. The people who were driving that car were so lucky. So a car's gone off at road, gone through barriers, gone down the grass. If that car had have fell and landed on that platform, it could easily have rolled in upside down. It could have flipped over and gone upside down. So that is a massive scare for those people. So whoever you are, I don't think you'll ever see this, but I hope you're all right. But yeah, angling news. You just got to remember as well, it might not have been the car at fault. Could have been somebody else. But you imagine if you've got a couple of kids sat on that peg, and this can happen anywhere, by the way, or you're sat on that peg fishing, and a car just crashes into. back of your brolly. Imagine that. So yeah, just be wary out there, people. Just be very careful. Just keep doing your lifesavers while you sat there, and and just try and just stay safe. A car at any moment could just crash into the back of your head while you're fishing and completely ruin your gudgeon session. Our father, the man that every angler knows in the match fishing world, every angler knows him who's not in match fishing. It's very rare to open Match Fishing Magazine, Angling Times, Pole Fishing Magazine. There should be a Feeder Fishing Magazine. I'm sorry, but there should be. It's very hard to open any social media platform or magazine in today's world and not be blessed with the sight of Mr. Tommy Pickering, right? Great guy, incredible family. That guy has done it. I think he's probably... I don't think Tommy knows exactly just how great he is. If you go back through all his previous achievements and forget the titles and forget the trophy wins and the big match wins and all that stuff abroad and everything, probably one of the most versatile anglers to do it the longest in his era. And I know what you're going to say, Ivan. Yeah. Ivan, I don't think had that reach. But what would be great is, I'd like to see Ivan, it's never going to happen because he's no longer with us, like rest in peace, but I think it would be so great to see a 25-year-old Ivan Marks in today's world, 2025, with Facebook, catch reports, updates, travelling around, using, this new world we've got to his advantage in fishing, because Tommy's got a YouTube channel, if you didn't know. If you go on Tommy's profile, he regularly does updates for his YouTube channel with his recent matches at Southfield and all over the place, Lindome, Bomb League. So, yeah, I'd love to see the equivalent of Ivan doing like Tommy's work now, because Tommy's a very busy guy. Anyway, Tommy is leaving Fuka after 5 years with the company and endless amounts of input into the innovation of hook bait creativity and feed as well. There's been a few ground bait talks, pellets, the mixed micros, the hook baits, the squash'ems and wash'ems and everything that they do. I was one of the first people when David, by the way, David Preston, got anything Preston in here? David Preston Innovations, Fuka, David Preston Innovations. David Preston, he sold up, wanted money. That was his sole purpose, not greed. He wanted to make fishing tackle when he was younger so he could sell it. And he wanted to be different, so he wanted to be innovative, so he could break through little bits of the market for people that were like, oh, that's different, and it's better. I'll have one of them. And Dave used to make tackle items for people, and then it got in shops, and then he started talking about mass production, and then Preston Innovations, and then Sonia Baits, and then Coram, and then Avid Carp. So when Fuka was announced, I was like, no way. I don't believe in it. The name of it, come on. The colours, the texture. I went and picked up a few of the ready hookers. By the way, I've still got some of them from the first day they hit the tackle shop at Aston Park. I went and picked a bag of each up, red, white and yellow, and still got them. Still go and catch fish on them. That was 5 years ago. The same packets. There's still half a bag left in each. Peel them off, screw them up into little maggots, put them on as full pellets. I still catch fish on them when I take kids down to the local pond down here. I weren't sold. I weren't buying it. No way, not buying it. No. Fuka baits. Fuka. Come on, we know what you're doing. Anyway, ended up being one of the most competitive bait influencers on the market. Like, there's so many massive brand ambassadors. Tommy Pickering, Tom Scully, loads of people who were just absolutely smitten on it. Ben Fisk. People go crazy for it, and there's so much available now from Fuka. It's hard not to give it a go. I've tried most of it, and it's great stuff. So, the Marchant family, all the Marchants, Guy and Kelly and all their kids, they're massive Fuka people as well. They absolutely believe in it, like it works for them. So, and I tell you what, forget belief. Look at the match results. Look at all the different venues. Like you've got the merchants that go to so many different commercials on a regular basis, but them and each of the kids all do well. They don't, it's not just a scattered score sheet. Tom Scully will go from Lindome to Hallcroft, then he'll go on River, fishing on River with it. Then you've got Tommy Pickering taking it around World and Southfield and everywhere, and it's just such a versatile bait range. But after 5 years, Tommy's announced that he's leaving. You might have seen the video online. Go and have a look on Tommy's page or the Fuka page. It's on there. It's quite a nice watch. Him and David Preston, they sort of shake hands and call it a day. And it is all on good terms as well, which is not rare in angling, but sometimes there's always a hidden story. And Tommy will tell you exactly why it's time to hang up the bait apron for Fuka. And Tommy, you'll probably never see this, but wishing you all the best. And yeah, you could be an ambassador for Greg's sausage rolls, and yeah, you'd still do a great job. So, well done, Tommy, and sorry to see you leave one of the greatest bait manufacturers that's going in the UK market. Alma Fishing Club, if any of you know it, Alma, little tiny pond called the Wolfie Pond in Chesterfield, an absolute fishing paradise. I did my first ever fishery audit there. I weren't trying to help anybody out. I weren't trying to create any clout for myself. I just knew that it were very public. You can't just walk down there when you're not fishing and go for a walk around. It's got a public footpath. And I thought I'd go for a walk round, and I'd also seen they'd done a bit of work, putting some new pegs on, a bit of maintenance. So I thought, you know what, I'll do a quick walk around with camera and chuck it on YouTube and just show people a different venue, because it's off the beaten track. You can't just drive past it and see it. It is surrounded by trees. It's not somewhere you can see from a distance unless you walk down there. If you remember, you can actually drive down to it. So a lot of people weren't actually seeing it, and I didn't think they were getting the credit they deserved. So that's where my first fishery audit ever came from. And the news this week is that the club has received this lovely letter from the neonatal unit at Chesterfield Royal Hospital following the club presenting them with the cheque for £165, which was raised from the charity match this year. Thank you to all those that were involved in the charity match who helped raise the money. Kind regards, James. James is one of the guys on the committee over there, lovely bloke. Yeah, and there it is, £165 raised for the neonatal unit at Chesterfield Royal Hospital. And that's big money. Like, for one fishing match. How many fishing matches do we have every day? If you think, and that's a fishery, by the way, who's thought, oh, we've got a spare week this week, what are we doing? We've got nothing on. Right, well, I'll tell you what, let's pick a Wednesday, let's have a knock-up, and any money we raise, we'll give it to charity. Well, why not? Where else? What else would everyone be doing? Nothing. You think if influencers like Alma Fishing Club, the Wolfie Pond, could do this, and I know a lot of people do it, but could do this on a regular basis, and angling could also become a platform for helping just slip in a bit of money in a few pockets every now and again. Like, it's all right, you have it. It's all right. We'll look after you. Because it is a very tough world. Like, why not help people out? I think it's great. So yeah, any fishing clubs out there that are, looking at trying to propel their vision and everything, get in touch with your local health service, whether it be a charity or your local hospital or whatever, and just put them on notice. Just say we'd like to run a fishing match, or just a fishing open day event, or a work party event. Work party events are great because you're getting loads of work done around your fishery, which benefits the fishery. You're also getting a lot of focus on meeting people that you wouldn't normally. Matches are great. Don't get me wrong. Fishing matches are great. Like, that is just probably cherry on the cake. But when you do work parties, you also get the added bonus of spending a bit more time next to each other. Fishing match is spread out over a lake. And although a lot of people know each other, the sole purpose is for all that input money-wise to be raised for charity. But work parties are all also great on a different level, because you get to work with people, you get to talk and chin wag and all that stuff. And so yeah, matches, work parties. If anyone wants to raise any money from your local club for a local service or charity, or even a local school, help pay for a new bike shelter, our kids' school off at road, theirs were falling to bits. They've managed to get a bit of funding. They've had a nice new, well, it's like an equipment shed. So they've had a nice new equipment shed built. They had a big bike shelter built a while back. Not a cheap ordeal either. So yeah, there's some massive support out there for people. And angling is just one of those areas of the sporting world that's helping keeping people going. So yeah, massive win for angling. MAP, Match Angling Products. Everyone knows MAP. MAP have been around for years. They haven't got a massive catalogue, but MAP, in my eyes, they have the same vision as your Preston Innovations, as your Matrix. They have the same vision. And although they don't have that massive catalogue, they do have that same fire burning. Like some of the things they've come up with, the embed feeder, the seat boxes. I think the seat boxes are stunning. Like, I'm a Preston guy, I always will be, but those 36 MAP seat boxes, even the H-frames, I think they look stunning. They have brought out a new series of pole. So you've got the G10, G20, G30, 40, 50 and 60. And they're all available from most stockies, but Mark Price, who owns Stainforth Angling Centre, is probably one of the biggest MAP dealers in the north. He's got them all in stock. He put a post on not long back saying if anyone's looking for a new pole, we've got the G range in stock. So if anyone out there is after a new pole, the G range of the new MAP poles that have come out this year, after a bit of time waiting for people to get their hands on them and test them and go out, apparently they are mustard. So if you're after a new pole and you're after something that's lightweight, strong, durable, they are the pole to be heading for. So get yourself to Stainforth Angling Centre. It has everything in stock, by the way, but go there, get your new G series pole, and you will not be disappointed. Barbel record smashed out the park. Biggest barbel in UK ever landed. Well, ever recorded, right? Not everyone likes to publish the PBs or British records. We've had that in the past. But a guy has landed a barbel of dreams. Now, I like to study pictures. Yeah? I like to look at a few pictures and think, yeah, remember the roach from Carsington Water? 100% British record. Easy. Caught on a fly. Massive place. Carsington Water has the biggest roach in the country. But we've also had someone recently put out a video saying he fishes a local little pond and that's got the biggest roach in the country. And they're nowhere near it. So forget him. Carsington has the biggest roach. And this barbel right here is set to be the new British record. So Angling Times posted barbel record. Nothing we really need to add to this one. Quality angler. Quality photo, quality fish. Simon Baker with the biggest barbel ever caught from British waters at £22 3 ounce, set to be a new British record. Once verified. You can't just take a picture of, and you can't. Well done, Simon. An exceptional capture. Now, that photo, I'll put it on screen now. It's, it's there, isn't it? It's definitely a barbel. But I think I've seen bigger barbel that weigh less. Taking into account the proportion of the hands, the elbows are back, the angle of the forearm and his upper arm there, it's back, he's not holding it out to make it look big, he's actually holding it in, and it still doesn't look huge. So I probably am wrong, it probably is a new British record, I'm just saying what I see. But yeah, massive well done. It's certainly a big fish, and it's bigger than any barbel that I've ever caught. But hopefully, it'll get verified as the new British record. Hopefully, doesn't say where it's been caught from. You guys all know that stuff. There's also a big weir in the UK that's also producing massive, massive barbel. Is this one from there? Who knows? But I do know from comments and captures, and a friend of mine who goes barbel fishing quite a lot, people have caught bigger ones than this and they won't release where they've caught it from. They won't pursue a British record title. So yes, massive well done, but there's also hearsay out there to say otherwise. But can you imagine what a 22-pound barbel fight's like in running water? It would be like tying a rope around your waist and then tying the other end to a Ferrari. You're going for a light walk that way, and the Ferrari is in 6th gear doing 120 that way. I reckon that's what it'd feel like on that initial run. So yeah, massive well done to Simon Baker on the capture of a £22 barbel. Incredible. Absolutely mental. Chesterfield Canal, probably one of, I mean, there's not many, but one of the most, probably top 5 most popular canal systems in the UK. It's in 2 pieces at the minute. You've got where it starts in Chesterfield, all the way out to West Stockwith, but from Norwood to Kiverton, there used to be a tunnel, and it fell in. Quite a sad story. If you look through the history of the place and what happened, there were also a few lives lost, and it all collapsed, and they blocked up each end, and that was it, done, no more. The actual canal was filled in all the way back to Staveley, and in recent years, last year at Staveley, they had a new bridge put over the canal there, well, just past where the canal ends. You can actually still see the remains of the canal. If you go on Google Maps, you can work it out, and you can actually see where it used to be. They've started digging again, and I think it's great. And I have asked a couple of times, and they've said you can come and help. You have to get in touch with someone and go and volunteer to help and dig. But I am going to go down at some point and go and do a couple of digs with them and just a bit of light work. I'm not going to go mad. The Canal and River Trust, the Chesterfield Canal Trust, there's loads of organisations locally that are all involved and intertwined with keeping this movement going. They're digging it back through. They're connecting the canal back together. So from Staveley all the way to Kiverton, where I did my fishery audit not long back, they're going to join it all the way up at some point. So unlucky news for Kiverton Waters, but what can you do? But yeah, one day, hopefully it's in my lifetime and some of yours, the canal will be joined back up again. And that would be incredible. They are doing a campaign where if you donate to help them, they will match it. Well, they won't. The organisations that are also involved, it's being matched. So if you donate £1, £2 gets put in the pot. If you donate a tenner, which is, in my eyes, massive, £20 gets put in the pot. There's been people donate £100, £200 added to the pot. And at the minute, they are doing digs and recreating little holes. There's a massive lock being dug at Staveley right now. There's some work going off at Renishire. And yeah, the Chesterfield Canal Trust have put on, "Is today the day you will support us and get your donation doubled? We have achieved 27% of our target, and the big give closes tomorrow. Please help us turn the big give into the big dig and get another section of our canal in water. Click here to donate." I'll put the link in the description if you want to follow it. Any old sections of canal that have been left, filled in or whatever, they are slowly getting funding and getting some elbow grease, and they are digging it back up again. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if we all put us heads together, including you lot out there, I've made a small donation. If you want to donate a £5, a £10, whatever, you can even donate £1. A lot of these platforms only let you donate like a £5 or £10 or £20 increment. You can just donate £1. Put your donations in. It'd help them out massively. And yeah, what am I now? 36. Maybe when I'm 50, 60 years old, I might be able to travel all the way up the canal again. That would be incredible. That would be immense. And I think, as far as I'm aware, Chesterfield Canal is the only canal that's separated that can be repaired and made fully functional again. So let's try and make that happen. That'd be great. So yes, massive well done to Canal and River Trust and the Chesterfield Canal Trust, 2 different people. Fishing licences. If you've not got one, it's no skin off my nose, but we have to have one. A fishing licence costs, it's about £40, about £37, I think it is. It's about £40, right? I can't tell you the last time that we've gone to McDonald's. Probably we go once a month, sometimes once every 2 months. We don't go a lot. Me, at Mrs, at kids, and some of their and we've gone. I don't think we've ever been and spent less than £40 on a McDonald's. to bring home and have like a late tea or something after doing whatever. So 37 quid will last you a full year from when you purchase it. Like if I purchase it today, it doesn't run out at end of April anymore. It runs out in a year's time. You just get an expiry date from when you purchased it because it makes sense. 40 quid for a full year. At McDonald's, it probably lasts all of us, each meal, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And that's one McDonald's spread over 5 people, 6 people. Why would you not have a fishing license to go fishing? Why? And that brings me on to this case here, what has popped up this week in the news. So it says, irate fisherman who shouted and swore in 30-minute rant lands big fine. Jason Ball, 29, had been approached by an Environment Agency fisheries enforcement officer in the West Midlands when the row erupted on January 15th this year. So it's been going on a bit, this. An irate fisherman from the West Midlands who shouted and swore during a 30-minute rant over a rod licence has been landed with a big fine. Jason Ball, 29, from Stone, Staffordshire, had been approached by an Environment Agency fisheries enforcement officer at Trenton Mersey Canal, Stone, when the row erupted. He refused to give his name and address when asked to show his rod licence. Mr. Ball was in possession of a fishing rod, but not a licence to use it. So a lot of people think that you have to have a fishing licence to go fishing. You have to have a fishing licence if you go anywhere near water with a rod and line. It's exactly the same as that rod and line and that water being a vehicle, and you need a licence to drive it. You can't be in possession of equipment and apparatus that can hook an animal, drag it out of its comfort zone into an area where it can no longer breathe and be trusted. So you've got to have a licence to do things like that. You don't have to have a licence to walk down to the shop. Yeah, you could get hit by a bus, you could get struck by lightning. But you're tampering with nature. And unfortunately, to use this equipment on a public or any water, you've got to have a licence. So you can't bypass it. The Environment Agency said he became very aggressive with no regard for the alarm he was causing to people nearby. He eventually gave his name and address when Staffordshire police arrived to deal with the disturbance. Mr. Ball was found guilty of threatening behaviour and possession of an unlicensed fishing rod during a hearing at North Staffordshire, Newcastle-under-Lyme Magistrates Court on December the 1st. December 1st just gone, so this year, 2025. He was fined £660 and ordered to pay costs of £1,070 with a victim surcharge of £264. It brought the legal bill to £1,994, which is mind-blowing. If you think about how long a McDonald's lasts and how long a fishing licence lasts, it is mental. So if I walked up to you and said, here's a £40 bill, you pay that and you can fish all year round, no problem. Just £40, that's all it's going to cost. If I wrote you a bill for £2,000 and said, or you can just pay me £2,000 and you don't need a licence. That's just for one day. That's just probably for 10 minutes of being caught fishing, by the way. So that's for the entire year, £40. You probably don't want to pay that. £40 for a year? That's mental. Just for today's business, what I can do for you, don't tell my boss that I've offered you this. £2,000 just for 5 minutes fishing. Won't say anything else. Luckily, all the money goes back into the local authority pot, and it helps pay for like repairs to police cars. It helps pay for new boots that the fishery enforcement officer needs when he's knackered, and it also helps for new padlocks on the gates when poachers are coming and stuff. But it's only £2,000. Idiot! How can you honestly afford to argue with somebody who's... And I've seen instances in the past, by the way, where people have been approached by an Environment Agency officer and they've just gone, oh, do you know what? I've not got one. I didn't renew it. and they've been straight up with them. Like a couple of pegs away, I've seen it happen. I also know someone on Facebook, a popular match angler, who he didn't have a licence, and he put a post on Facebook saying, "I got caught without a licence today." It were a match write-up. He were doing a write-up about his match. He'd not had a great day either, but he just sandwiched in there, "I also got caught without a licence today. Just make sure everyone you've got your licences." Completely slipped my mind. You're not going to see any write-up about him anywhere. All it's going to be is, right, you'll get a fine through post. You might end up going to court. You've been straight up with us, but yeah, sorry, mate, you should have a licence. He's not going to get publicly shamed on everything because he's been straight up and honest, and he's genuine. He's packed up and gone. He's waited for the match to finish, and that's it. It's over with. This person was kicking off, creating a nuisance, alarming people nearby, swearing at somebody. It could have been that enforcement officer that turned around and said, "Mate, I tell you what, if you've not got one, just get you sent off. Get a licence, mate. Don't want to see you back here until you've got a licence. If I catch you again without a licence, it's going to be big bucks. Yeah? Get you sent off." That could have happened. I'm not saying there's an EA officer out there that's going to comment on this video saying, "Oh, I'll let people off all the time if they're genuine," because I don't think that's in your policies to do that. I think you have to enforce it. For 100%, there will be enforcement officers out there that have stumbled across a dad and daughter who have bought some fishing tackle from Argos. They've got some bread, don't know anything about fish, don't even know you need a licence, and gone for a Wingerworth Canal, and someone said, like, "Have you got a licence?" "Oh, no, I didn't realise you had to have one." "No, you do." "Hey up, young'un, you alright?" "Right, what I'll do, mate, is get you sent off. Here's what you have to do to get a licence. Get you sent off, get one, get back down here, because otherwise I have to give her a fine, and I don't want to spoil the enjoyment for her." Somebody will have approached a member of public like that. No one's just going to come and throw a ton of bricks on your head. Pay for your goddamn licence. And I know it says his name on there. It's there for everyone to see. I'm not bothered. Pay for your licence. £40, I think it's 37 quid. £40 for the year. And instead, if you turn up to go and fish a lake, and you've been sat there for 10 minutes fishing, 10 minutes, and EA turn up, and you do that, £2,000 for 10 minutes. £2,000. You are off your head. And I'm not being funny, but if that were me, I'd be making sure that everybody, even though I'm not an EA officer, I'd be making sure everyone's got a licence after that. You will never forget that. So yeah, please, I'll put the link in the description if you've not got one. And I know some people do. I've seen people comment before where someone's put on, "EA checked our fishery today," and someone's put, "Never bought a fishing licence in my life. Never been checked in 40 odd years." Well, great. Yeah, great. If you've ever got any concerns as to where the money goes and what they do with it when we pay for these licences, yeah, even though sometimes it's a voluntary bailiff service, a lot of admin has to take place somewhere for the names to be processed, the fines, the inductions to court and all that. Just think about where that money could be going. And if you have got a licence, your money could be going to somewhere better than that. So just get your licences, people. It's not worth it. £2,000 is a ridiculous amount of money just to go fishing for a little bit. Pay your 40 quid, get a licence. Ending on a positive. So, one of my ex-gaffers, who I was sponsored by a bait company on Unback, me and my two boys were sponsored by a bait firm. The greatest ground bait ever produced, by the way. I'm no longer with them, no longer sponsored by them. Things have quietened down over there. However, the greatest bait ever. You can catch fish in the bath with the stuff. My gaffer, she has recently signed a deal with Nitro. And my gaffer was the lovely, everyone's favourite, Emma Pickering. So, Nitro Fishing. Nitro are pleased to announce the appointment of Emma Pickering as social media content creator and brand ambassador for the Nitro brand, with effect from January 1st, 2026. Emma's role will be to manage the social media channels, media content with partners, and the Nitro teams and individual anglers. The former England ladies star has a long-standing relationship with the trade and is a well-respected angler in her own right. Emma is the daughter of former world champion Tommy Pickering, who we touched on earlier, like one of the greatest, who has been a brand ambassador for Nitro himself too for the past 3 years. All the team at Nitro wish Emma all the very best in her new role. And there she is, shaking hands with the Nitro gaffers. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't know anglers personally, especially anglers that are in Limelight quite a lot. I used to go and pick up my bait from Emma's. Probably the soundest person in the world. I say that about a very few people, but there's been times when I've been there picking bait up and Tommy's turned up. I tell you what, people, regularly I see comments about they've approached a certain angler out there whose name rhymes with Stinger, and he's arrogant, is this. He don't talk, he ignores me. I just try and be friendly with him. You know, I've followed this guy for years and I'm a big fan of his fishing. And he just ignores. There's a lot of people out there that do have arrogance issues with other general public members. Like, these people are not top anglers, you know, they're not celebrities, they're just anglers that are just in somebody's camera lens a lot more than you are or than I am. Emma, her dad Tommy, have been in a lot of lenses. They have been around the world on the biggest stages in angling. They've been with the greatest brands ever. They are the most relaxed, down-to-earth people you will ever meet in your entire life. So Nitro have already got Tommy. But if you ever see this, everyone will say, bear in mind, I'm like a bypasser to Emma. A lot of people know Emma personally, have gone to school with her, they've pinched roast taters off a plate when she's not looking. There's people out there a lot closer than I am. But I have to give people their flowers where it's due. Nitro, if you ever see this, a great addition to your organisation. Tommy and daughter, come on. One of the greatest duos to ever do it. And they do actually fish together quite regularly at Lindo in winter bombing league, bombing feeder pairs or whatever it is. So yeah, massive well done to Emma. Give her a congratulations on that post. Nitro have shared it. Go and give her a congratulations. She deserves everything that she can get. She's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I expect some great content being created from the social media platform of Nitro. It'll be Emma who's behind it all. So yeah, massive well done, Emma. That is pretty much it for the news. That is like a nice bulk of news for everybody to soak their eyeballs and ears into from this last week. There's lots more going off in angling. I don't touch on everything, but I just like to grab the bumpy bits that are on top and sprinkle those out there. So if you've got any news or any links or anything like that, please get in touch. But one thing that I'd like to request from you guys is, if you are affiliated with a local tackle shop, don't matter where you are in UK, if you own a tackle shop, if you manage one, if you just work in one, if you just know of a tackle shop that's fallen victim to theft, and I've seen it before where they've put pictures on of thieves that they want, you know, this person stole from us today. If you know of a tackle shop, or you are a tackle shop that's had someone stealing and you've got the camera footage or just the still of the person and what they look like and what they're wearing, drop me a message on Facebook or send me an email, YouTube, whatever. Just get in touch. And every week I'd like to do a segment where I'm helping, trying to target these people that are stealing from tackle shops. It's a massive ask. Not a lot of tackle shops would be willing to do that. I understand that. But also, and I have seen quite a lot in past. I just don't know if they've already been rectified by now, so I don't want to go digging up old dirt. But if you're a tackle shop out there, or you know of one, and they've fallen victim to thieves, and they want to post pictures and everything, send them me. Details of what they've taken, the location, any car they were driving, anything like that, whatever you can, get in touch. Or if you put it on Facebook and someone can tag me in it, that'd be great, because I can't see everyone's post. And I'll integrate it into this episode next week, and I'll try and do like a bit of a thief awareness, because this channel can be quite widespread. It'd be nice to get out a bit of a word about thieves. People do travel 100 miles every day to work. They might stop at tackle shop on the way home, pinch £300 worth of reels, and then that's it, they're off. And then tomorrow they're working 200 miles that way. You might never find them. So the idea behind this is to try and create a wider radius for you tackle shops that have fallen victim to thieves. So let me know, drop me a message on Facebook. I do see them every now and again. Drop me an email, give me some pictures, give me some footage, and I'll drop it into a few videos, and we'll help try and catch these culprits, because it only needs to be a reg number or someone to say, I actually know that person, he's from my end, what's he doing up there? Or, yep, I know him, he looks just like the person that tried selling me those 2 reels last week. And this is his profile on Facebook. So get in comments, let me know, and I can try and help you completely free of charge as well. And because it's me, it'll be me that, well, they try and give the rap to, and well, I'm not bothered. So get at me and let's try and sort it. And that's it, people. I've been doing a little bit of lure fishing, chucking out plastic fish with hooks on and hooking real fish, and it's been quite enjoyable. And I'm after it were a cheap rod challenge. It's not actually in here. I'm after a lure rod and reel combo, or even a setup or anything like that. If anyone's got any ideas, I know nothing about lure fishing or pike fishing, but there's another video going on probably this week or next week or whatever. Get in comments and let me know of any brands or item numbers for any rods, for any lure rods, weight wise, mainly canals, still waters, and local little puddles for pike. Not like lure fishing for 20-pounders, but if you can give me a rod description in a low range for smaller fish, and probably one for a bigger fish, that'd be great, because I could probably get one of each. Get in comments and let me know. Just have like a little lure package, a lure net that I can just hook on my back, all that stuff, and that'd be very appreciated. So yeah, get at me, guys. This has been the news this week for tips, tackle, tactics, tantrums, and throw your toys out the pram on a Thursday. Have you got a mystery lurking around your local fishery? Is there a British record catfish in a tiny puddle at the end of your driveway? Is there something going off behind closed doors that you're not happy or familiar with, and it could cause great drama in the angling world? Well, get at me, let me know, drop me some links, keep yourself anonymous unless you want me to say your name and post it. I will 100% not give you away. Let me know, and I will help bulk it into the news every week here on That's On. And this is just a new area where I can just come and deliver some stuff to you that you might not be aware of. So yes, we'll leave it there. Pay £40 for your rod licence. Do not pay £2,000 for 10 minutes worth of fishing without even walking away with a rod licence. Make sure that if you are fishing, you keep looking over your shoulder for any cars crashing into the back of your umbrella. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the news for this week. Thank you all for watching. See you next Tuesday.